welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another video in my Bay Area beauty series. Today we're going behind the scenes of a really innovative company called Dear Brightly. I'm excited to share a little bit of my experience with the product, just how it's revolutionizing things. I'm sitting down here with Amy, who's the CEO.
Hello.
And co-founder.
Yes.
Dear Brightly.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about the company and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so the company we launched last March, but we had started working on it well before then, which in 2017 is when it was born. So my co-founder, Alda, and I, we both met in a previous job. We were both software engineers, and we instantly gravitated towards each other because we were very few women in the engineering org. Some common things that we talked about a lot are obviously like engineering, something that really interests us, and then also skincare, because we're big skincare people. So for example, I've been putting on sunscreen since I was 13, because my mother always told me to. How we got to start talking about this is both of us have been using prescription grade retinoid for many years. It's a product that we very much depended on. It's kind of like how we think of sunscreen for the day, we think of a retinoid for nighttime for us. We were wondering why this essential product was so difficult to get, basically. For example, it took me about a year to get one. Honestly, it was just a really difficult thing to get. And so Alda and I were like, well, how can we make this easier? We deeply understood the problem and faced it. And so we're like, how can we make this easier? How can we make this online, especially in such a digital world? We're both software engineers, like we can definitely build this. It's difficult to get because you have to find a dermatologist. And that takes time. You have to book with a dermatologist, and I remember the first time I ever booked with a dermatologist, she was not taking any new patients, and so I had to find another one. And then on top of that, when I actually went there, I realized that they weren't seeing me for very long. It was, I think, 5 to 10 minutes of them seeing me in person. They weren't touching my skin or anything like that, but it was all to get, evaluated for prescription grade retinoid because I knew of all the benefits. But then after, I had to go pick it up at a pharmacy, and honestly, it just took a bunch of time because it was on a weekday. I had work.
I think everybody can relate to that. The medical industry as a whole is just kind of a pain.
I mean, it's amazing though because we need doctors, we need dermatologists. They're super important for our world. But for something so simple as a prescription grade retinoid, it was very difficult. And so Alda and I wanted to build this service for people like ourselves. What's been your experience?
Oh my gosh. It's kind of embarrassing, don't judge me, but being really into YouTube and following bloggers for years, and I also follow bloggers abroad, and a lot of them mention how they can get prescription strength retinoids over the counter in other countries such as in Europe, Mexico, some places in Asia. And being that I love to travel, I made a point on a Europe trip a couple summers ago to go to a pharmacy and pick up Retin-A, essentially.
Yeah.
And I was with my friend who was Finnish, and she helped kind of communicate and interpret with the pharmacist there to help me grab what I thought I wanted. But when I finally eventually got home with it, I was too freaked out to use it because the directions were all in Finnish. I couldn't really use Google Translate just with medical jargon.
Right.
Also with the percentage, I thought it was a 1%, but I didn't really know if it was a blend of other things because just different standards across borders. It could have been something totally different than what I was looking for at the end of the day. So I never actually used it, but I've heard similar stories from some of my friends who have gone to Mexico or other countries where they picked it up and it might not have been exactly what they wanted.
There's different strength levels, and depending on the strength, it might not work for your skin type.
Right. So while it is a shortcut, you are putting yourself at risk, and especially me, I can speak from my own experience. I have extremely sensitive skin, so it wasn't my best, judgment choice in the past, but I lived and I learned, and then I learned about Dear Brightly.
I also have very sensitive, dry skin too, so I totally empathize with you, and my skin is it's a very personal thing. So anything that I put on it, I want to know what I'm putting on my skin.
So I've been using this a few nights a week, just kind of concentrating it around the nose, T-zone, chin, the areas I'm not as sensitive, and it's been great. So much more smoothness. If you've never tried a retinoid before, it'll change your life, honestly.
I would say, it was the same thing for me. So in my early 20s, I don't know what the deal was, but I just noticed I started getting bouts of acne.
There's so many benefits of using a retinoid. It's not
so
just the
many
acne.
benefits.
And you have amazing skin, by the way.
Thank you.
Now that I'm seeing you up close and in the flesh. But yeah, just back to the product. The formula is just this silky smooth texture. When I lay down at night, it's not gonna drip in my eyes or like cause any other irritation. It's very easy to use. A lot of people don't know that it's not just for acne and it's not just for fine lines and wrinkles. It can tackle so many different skin concerns.
Yeah, it also helps with like pigmentation, so sunspots, dark spots, as well as uneven skin tone, enlarged pores, making it appear smaller.
Biggest misconceptions I've heard about retinoids, it's the same as the stuff you can pick up at, retailers and department stores.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that almost every day. Prescription grade retinoids are different scientifically than over-the-counter, like say, retinols.
I know the answer to this question, but how is this different than something you can pick up at Walgreens or Sephora?
Yeah, so the reason it's scientifically different because prescription grade retinoids have the active ingredient, retinoic acid, so they can come in different forms, but it's retinoic acid, right? And so one of them is, for example, like Tretinoin. That's the active ingredient that when topically put on your skin, stimulates collagen. Whereas if you get something like retinol that's over the counter, so a place that you can get at a drugstore or like beauty retailer, it's retinol that's the ingredient, which is not really the active. So when you put that on your skin, it needs to convert multiple times in order to be converted into retinoic acid, which is the active ingredient that does something to your skin.
Another misconception I've heard is that it's only for people that are 30 plus.
No, oh my gosh. So I started using it in my 20s, and when we initially were talking to a bunch of dermatologists, a number of them in our network, we asked them, like, what age should you be using this? And they're like, your early 20s as soon as, teens even use this for, like, mainly acne. And age is a really interesting topic.
It just kind of relates back to this whole philosophy of self-care and just taking a look at your overall well-being. One misconception is that more is better with something like this.
Yeah, more is not better. Total misconception, like all you need is a pea-sized to dime-sized amount and it actually diffuses under your skin. And increasing that amount does not like increase efficacy, it just increases irritation. So,
neat.
Oh, also another misconception, if you're not flaking, it's not working. So initially that might be true because like as your skin learns to tolerate, you get some flaking or like dryness, and it's because of your skin cells turning over. As your skin learns to tolerate, you get less of it, which is an amazing thing. That's what you want.
Definitely, that's been kind of my experience, slowly incorporating this into my routine. The first couple weeks you don't see flaking and you're almost tempted to use more or up the ante. There is kind of an initial hump, if you will, that I would say 2 to 3 weeks in. My personal experience is that that's when the flaking started to kick in.
Oh,
so
interesting, yeah.
Trust the directions, trust the professionals, and just follow those directions and you will see the flaking come, but don't increase your usage in order to see flaking because it is working. So another misconception I've heard about retinoids in general is that people apply them to spots. It's not meant to be a spot treatment.
It's not meant to be a spot treatment. It should be applied everywhere.
And I've always wanted to see a dermatologist. I've seen allergists and other things for other health-related issues, but dermatologist was always like prohibitively expensive. It was too much of a hassle setting up the appointment. It was never covered within my plan or my network, so it's just something I never got around to. But I found with this was just so simple, so easy. I got a prescription that was 100% developed for me and my needs and my background, and it was ready like within a week. It was so fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that you can get something that used to take so many back and forth to the dermatologist and cost probably hundreds of dollars.
So that's another thing that Alden and I wanted to really solve for, is making sure this was accessible, not in terms of just like making it all online and seamless for you, but also making sure it was accessible in terms of like price as well. So the consult is $29. It's the average price of a copay. Product itself is like customized for you, formulated by dermatologists, tailored for you, made for you with love in a pharmacy.
You guys can't see, but my name is printed on the back, and there's like a serial number, an expiration date, and my specific blend. $29 for the initial consult.
Yep.
That's like that doesn't even cover parking in San Francisco to go to your dermatologist.
Yeah.
It was super seamless, really easy and straightforward. Just filling out my background, some of my skin concerns, and I uploaded a few photos of my skin, the side profile view in the front. I was filling it out, and I kind of sound like a tough customer. I'm like, I'm sensitive, I have eczema, I'm very fair, but still there was a formula suitable for me. So even if you have difficult skin, sensitive skin, there can still be a blended formula that's suitable for even the toughest of clients.
Right.
It's amazing that they can do that even without meeting the patient in person.
Right,
It's
right.
incredible. Retinoid versus retinol, and how just it's very confusing to the consumer,
So
and you have this whole spectrum of price points, but the formulas and the percentage can vary so greatly.
We've talked to a number of dermatologists in our network, and they all agree on like at least like 5 things if you want to be more like a minimalist about your skincare. So the other thing that we at Dear Brightly really care about is we want you to focus on what matters most, which is like living your lives, right? Like living optimally and like going out there and like being present in your lives. And we're helping to achieve that is by taking care of all of this hard work for you. All of the hassle, the inconvenience, inaccessibility, we want to take care of all of that so that you can focus on what you do best.
It's true, when you have great skin, you truly feel like you can tackle anything that life throws at you.
Yeah.
So we will have a link down below with a skincare routine, 5 steps, and more information on Dear Brightly. So just hit the link below and you guys can sign up. So definitely check that link below because Dear Brightly is available in the US in select states. So go ahead and check it down below. Thank you, Amy, so much for your time
thank you
today.
so much.
This is such a fun chat and like just blowing my mind with how you guys are disrupting this whole industry. How, you know, it traditionally, historically, was so difficult to get things like this that really changed people's quality of life.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us too. And
I've been kind of phasing out some of my glycolic acids that you guys know I love so much in place of this, just to really simplify things. And like I said, I'm kind of a tough customer because I have such a sensitive skin and eczema that I'm really excited to have this in my routine now.
Yeah.
I will have all the links down below to Dear Brightly as well as my Bay Area Beauty playlist so you guys can check out more videos in this series. So definitely check the link down below for more details on Dear Brightly. Amy's email address.
Email me anytime. I love learning, hearing your guys' stories. So even if you're a customer, even if you're a non-customer, my email will be available. And
it's always exciting to see, you know, women-led businesses here in San Francisco doing amazing things.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Leave a comment down below and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.